Welcome. This is Alicia Acefa, and I am the CEO of SOMAmetrics. And today we are going to have a lesson on 4 funnels math as part of our sales optimization training series. Before we get started, I'd like to tell you a little bit about our background. SOMAmetrics is a consulting practice, and we have worked with over 100 software and SaaS companies over these past 20 years and helped them to optimize their sales organizations. Our mantra is numbers matter because that's what we believe. And today, when we talk about the funnels math, you'll begin to see why numbers matter. One of the things that we found at each of the 100 companies that we worked with was that they didn't have an understanding that demand generation was very important in order to support a revenue objective. They would often hire a lot of salespeople, both inside and outside or both, and they would let these people do a lot of cold calling or figure out how to get to their contacts through partnerships and maybe some trade show leads. Today we're going to talk about why it's really important to focus on the top of the funnel, and I'll go into detail in just a moment. So again, the challenge with funnel math is that most companies, if they don't do funnel math, they need to and they don't know how to begin, or if they do funnel math, they're looking at their sales funnel, which is only one of the funnels. We have 4 funnels that we'll talk about. They focus at the end, which is the deals that are going to close either today or in the future. And so when you're looking at that number, that's a small subset of the number of leads that you actually need to generate. And so in order to get to that number, you need a lot more leads to ensure you're going to meet your revenue objective. So looking at a funnel, the top of the funnel is wide because you want to put in a lot of marketing activity to generate a lot of leads for your sales organization. It's counterintuitive. However, you should be focused more at the top of the funnel versus the bottom of the funnel. Before we get started with actually doing the math, we're going to talk about a few definitions. Impressions. Impressions are the number of touches that you need, the targets that you have, your target audience, your target prospects. These are the number of times that you touch that target base each year. Marketing qualified leads come from those impressions. Those are people who raise their hand and say, oh, I'm somewhat interested in your product or solution. And those marketing qualified leads are then qualified further to ensure that they have interest or need, budget, you understand who the decision maker is and the decision process, and the time frame is within that year. And typically, those marketing qualified leads are then qualified to meet those criteria by a telemarketing or teleprospecting organization. Once a teleprospector has qualified those leads, they become sales qualified leads, and then they actually move into the traditional sales funnel, and the sales organization can begin to work those very warm leads to ensure that they close. So another aspect of the funnel math, most of our companies that we worked with were thinking they could do a few, email campaigns here or there, or they could go to some trade shows or maybe have some partnerships. But you need to have a pretty robust mix of marketing activity in this day and age to ensure that you're going to make your number. That includes email campaigns, that includes partnerships and trade shows, it includes social media, it includes content syndication. So you'll want to come up with a really robust and varied mix of marketing activities to get to this green circle at the end here, revenue. So now let's start doing the math. Everyone understands how to get to a revenue number, right? So you know that in this example, it's $5 million that we want to generate this year. If the average deal size or average sale price is $25,000, that means you need 200 deals that you need to close in the year to meet your revenue target of $5 million. That's pretty straightforward. What most people don't understand is how to get to the SQL, MQL, and impressions number. So in this example, and this example is based on what we've seen in the software and SaaS industry, you're going to look at your SQL. So sales qualified revenue. So we're going to start at the right-hand side of this this funnel. And you know you need 200 deals. So if we're going to assume that the conversion rate of SQLs to closed deals is 25%, then we're going to take that 200 number and divide it by the 25% to get to 800 SQLs. Now, to get to MQLs, you do the same thing. You look at a conversion rate, and you need to sometimes make an assumption if you don't know. But in this case, we're using an assumption a conversion rate is 10%. So you take the 800 SQLs, you divide that by 10%, you get to 8,000 MQLs. And remember, these numbers are for a full year. Okay? Now, impressions. This is all of the marketing mix that you send out to your prospect world, right? Typically, the conversion rate in this industry is fairly low. It's about 0.5%, sometimes lower, sometimes a little bit higher, depending on your product or solution. But let's just say, for this example, the conversion rate is 0.5%. You have your 8,000 MQLs, and again, you look at that, you divide it by this conversion rate of 0.5%, and that means you need to touch your prospect base 1.6 million times during the year in order to get to 200 closed deals. And that's funnel math. So some things to think about if you're starting a sales organization, or if you have a sales organization in place, you need to step back and say, what is my funnel math? And let's start looking at calculating the funnel math, starting with the impressions all the way down to what we want to see in closed deals. Once you do that, then you need to start making an assumption about your conversion rates, and then start testing your different marketing mix and your conversion rates. So as you get better and better and better at converting impressions into MQLs and MQLs into SQLs and so forth, you will have an ability then to have fewer touches, which means that you'll be spending less of your marketing dollars on lead generation. In order to do that effectively, we recommend that you get a marketing automation tool to help you support that activity. Then, once you start getting your MQLs, you'll need a telemarketing organization to qualify those leads based on the criteria that you establish that will make a qualified, good sales lead for your sales organization. And then finally, I highly recommend that you include sales and marketing on your sales forecast calls. This will ensure that everyone is in alignment with what is going on from a marketing perspective and a sales perspective. So that's funnel math. If you have any questions, please give me a call. My name is Alicia Acefa. I'm the CEO of SOMAmetrics. My number is 510-206-9263, or reach me at alicia@somametrics.com. Thank you.